Okay, let's be real. When you hear classical music, you're probably thinking old dudes in wigs, right? Music that's kind of sleepy. But what if I told you one of these guys was an absolute rebel? Someone who basically invented the idea of telling a story with music. Forget all the dusty rules. This is Robert Schumann, and he was a total game changer.
I mean, think about it. You've heard one, right? A concept album where every single song connects to tell one massive story. Each track is like a chapter, and by the end, you've gone on this epic journey. It's everywhere now, in literally every kind of music. But where did that even start? Well, let me introduce you to the guy who was basically inventing story mode for music with nothing but a piano, like 200 years ago. Yep, Robert Schumann. For him, a piano wasn't just, a bunch of keys. It was a stage. It was a whole cast of characters. It was an entire universe just waiting to be explored. But before he could do all that, he had to become a rebel. And like any good origin story, it all starts with a big choice. Do you take the safe route, or do you follow what you're actually passionate about? So Schumann was born back in 1810 in Germany. And get this, his dad was a bookseller. That means his house was basically a library. He grew up totally surrounded by stories, adventure on every single shelf. So it makes sense he was into two things, music and reading. But his parents, they had let's say, a more practical plan. They pushed him to study law. Yeah, law school. But Schumann was like, nope, that is not my story. He ditched it and went all in on becoming a musician. What a power move, right? Okay, so Schumann is officially a full-time musician now. What's the first thing he does? He decides to just mash his two favorite things together, stories and music. He starts trying to crack music's secret code, trying to figure out how to hide whole plots and secret messages right there in the notes themselves. And he was so literal about it at first. For example, take one of his pieces called Papillons. That means butterflies. It's not just kind of inspired by a novel, no way. It's a full-on, scene-for-scene musical version of the book's final chapter. It's all about this big masked ball with all these characters and drama. He was literally making the soundtrack for a book before movie soundtracks were even a thing. But he didn't stop there. He got even cleverer. He started hiding secret messages in his songs, like musical Easter eggs. Just like when a game developer hides a secret in a game for you to find, he was doing that but with music notes. Here's a perfect example. One of his first big pieces was called the Abegg Variations. He said he dedicated it to a friend named Countess Abegg, and the main theme, that melody you hear again and again, it's literally the notes A, B, E, G, G. A, B, E, G, G. Abegg. Now, in German music, the note we call B flat is just called B, so the spelling works out perfectly. It's a secret message hidden right in the open. So yeah, this cool little trick actually has a name. It's called a musical cryptogram. You're basically using musical notes like letters in an alphabet to spell out words. And for Schumann, this wasn't just some clever party trick. It was a way to make his music super personal, to add another secret layer to the story he was telling. All right, so he's figured out how to put entire plots and secret codes into his music. You could say that's level 1 complete. So for level 2, he decides to create a whole cast of characters and throw a massive party. And this is where we get his masterpiece, Carnaval. Now, this isn't just one long song. It's a collection of 21 short pieces, and each one is a different character at a giant costume party. You've got Pierrot, the kind of sad clown. You've got the elegant Columbine. He even wrote musical portraits of his actual real-life friends. It's like he built an entire world inside this one piece of music. And this is where his imagination just goes wild. He was so dedicated to fighting against, well, boring music that he made up his own superhero squad. He called them the Davidsbund, or the League of David, and their whole mission was to wage a creative war on all the dull, predictable music of the time. Think of it like the Avengers, but for classical music. Now, every good superhero team needs leaders, and his had two, who were really just the two sides of his own personality. First, you've got Florestan. He's the loud, passionate, energetic one. Then you have Eusebius. He's the total opposite, dreamy, calm, and thoughtful. And in his music, you can actually hear these two sides battling it out. One moment, the music is all fiery and intense, and the next, it's super quiet and reflective. So at this point, it's clear Schumann isn't just a great musician. He's a master world builder. But what's really amazing is his range. It's kind of like a gamer who's not just good at one type of game, but can master everything from a chill, cozy life sim to a super intense action game. Okay, Exhibit A, his Kinderszenen, which means scenes from childhood. These are these really short, simple pieces. And the whole goal is to capture one single perfect feeling in just a handful of notes. The most famous one is called Träumerei, or Dreaming, and it's just pure, gentle nostalgia. It's like a perfect snapshot, a photograph made of music. And then, on the complete other end of the spectrum, you have his Symphonic Etudes. If Kinderszenen was the cozy tutorial level, this is the final boss. It is an absolute beast of a piece. It's an ultimate skill challenge designed to test a pianist to their limits. We're talking insane technical difficulty, but it's still packed with all that deep emotion and storytelling that's pure Schumann.
Okay, so why are we talking about this guy from almost 200 years ago? Why does this matter to you? Well, because the ideas he came up with, they are literally everywhere today. Let's just break it down real quick. 1. He proved that music could tell an actual story. 2. He showed that music could have characters with personalities and everything. And 3. He turned music into a world that you could actually explore. He made it interactive. I mean, just think about the soundtrack to your favorite movie. The music that tells you something epic or scary is about to happen, or the music in a video game when you're about to face a boss. That's the DNA of Schumann's ideas right there. He's the one who first figured out how to code storytelling directly into the music. So if you remember one thing, make it this. Robert Schumann is the guy who taught music how to have a plot. It's that simple. He gave it a story, he gave it characters, and he built it entire worlds to live in. We're all still listening to that story today. So I'll leave you with this question. If you were to write a soundtrack for your own life, what would it sound like? Would it be more Florestan, all passion and energy, or more Eusebius, kind of dreamy and chill? What's your story's theme song? It's a cool question to think about, and it's all thanks to him.